Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sara. Welcome to my channel and so sorry for delay. Actually, most of you were asking me about the video but I was not well, so sorry for delay. Okay ji. So today what we are going to learn about energy. Yes. Okay ji. So let's talk about energy. What you know about energy? Energy is actually the capacity to do some work. Okay? Don't confuse energy with force. Energy is a capacity to do some work. And if we talk about different forms of energies, there are kinetic energy, potential energy, light energy, sound energy, heat energy, nuclear energy. There are so many electrical energies, right? So there is gravitational energy. There are so many energies, right? So, and let me tell you one very important point, and that is actually the law of conservation of energy. And what is this? This is that energy can neither be created nor be formed, but yes, it can be transferred from one form to another form. How? For example, if you turn on the button, right? If you want to switch on the light, you just turn on the button. जब आप button on करते हो तो क्या होता है? The electrical energy changes into the light energy. The bulb gives us the light as well as the heat energy. Okay. Okay, and whatever you had in your breakfast today or in your lunch today, right, it's stored in your body in the form of chemical energy, right? So right now, for example, if you are moving, it changes into a kinetic energy, potential energy, sound energy, right? So every time energy is converted into one form to another form. And the most important question asked in exams or in, you can say, entry test, that what is the stored form of energy? The stored form of energy is called the chemical energy. So basically whatever you eat in your breakfast, lunch or dinner, it's stored in your body in the form of chemical energy. Or you can take the example of the UPS or the batteries, the cells. They are actually, there is actually the stored form, right? So stored form is actually the chemical energy. Okay, now let me tell you about some physical change and the chemical change, right? Before starting the energy, that what is the physical change or a chemical change? Physical change, in simple word, is a change in which there is no new product. No new product is formed, right? And what is the chemical change? Chemical change is a change in which we always get the new product. Okay, let me give an example. For example, this is a page, right? This is a physical change or a chemical change. Think about it. This is a physical change. Now, physical change. Let me do this. Physical change. Okay, ji. Now, let me tell you why this is a physical change. This is a physical change because in this, paper remains paper, right? There is no new product is formed. Okay? Okay, now let me give you an example of the chemical change. If we will burn this paper, right? This paper will changes into ashes. So this is a chemical change because now paper has been changes into ashes. This is a chemical change. Now let me tell you, very interesting, when we want to talk about the states of matter. There are different states of matter, right? Solid, liquid and gas. And when we talk about the changes of states of matter like freezing, melting, boiling, sublimation, evaporation, right? So these are actually the change of states of matter. And whenever we talk that melting or freezing or evaporation, these are physical change, not chemical change. Why they are physical change? Because here the water remains water. Only the state is changing. Like for example, for the liquid water changes into the solid water, that is called the freezing. If we talk about the solid water changes into a liquid water, that is the actually the melting. Oh, get it? So basically changes are always physical. Okay, these are not a chemical. Okay, so now we have a clear understanding of the physical change and chemical change. Now let's discuss about exothermic and endothermic reactions. Okay ji, now we are going to study about exothermic and endothermic reaction. Exo mean outside, endo mean inside, okay, and thermic mean heat. So exothermic reactions are those reactions in which heat energy is released out, okay, in which heat energy is released outside. So when during a reaction heat energy will release out, so it will increase the temperature of the surrounding. Okay, but for example, combustion is a exothermic reaction, rusting is an exothermic reaction, freezing, condensation, these all are the exothermic reaction. Okay, and nuclear bomb, this is also example of the exothermic reaction. If we talk about endothermic reactions are those reactions in which heat energy is absorbed inside, in which now heat travels from surrounding to inside a reaction. For example, melting, evaporation, cooking, baking, photosynthesis, in which heat energy is absorbed. These are called the endothermic reaction. Okay. Now we will discuss the examples of endothermic reactions like cooking, baking, photosynthesis, melting, evaporation. These are all the endothermic reactions. How? Because in endothermic reaction, we absorb heat from the surroundings, right? And make sure whenever in endothermic reactions, we are absorbing heat, actually the temperature of the surrounding cools down. How? Okay, let me give you an example. I just told you that the evaporation is an endothermic process. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हम एक बात करते हैं कि for example, whenever you take a bath, you take a shower, right? So you observe that when you come outside, तो आपको क्या लगता है? You feel cold. How? The reason is the water vapors on your skin, right? The water vapors on your skin absorb the heat from the surrounding, and it evaporates, due to which we feel cold. Is it clear? अभी आप नोट करो, when you come outside of the swimming pool से जब आप बाहर निकलते हो तो आपको ठंड लगती है, right? जितनी देर आप water में हो, you don't feel any cold, right? But when you step out, you feel cold. The reason is because when you come outside of the swimming pool, you have a water vapors on your skin. So these water vapors will absorb the heat from the surroundings, and then it will change into the gas, and that is actually the evaporation. और जब भी evaporation होती है आपकी surrounding में cooling effect आता है. So melting हो गया, evaporation हो गया, these all are photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process in which plants make their own food. इसमें भी आप absorb करते हो sunlight को. Okay. Now let me give you examples of the exothermic reaction. Whenever there is an exothermic reaction, the heat is released out. So when the heat will release out, तो उसका टेम्परेचर, द सराउंडिंग का टेम्परेचर जो है वो इंक्रीज हो जाएगा, राइट? ओके, एंड व्हाट आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ द एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्शन? लाइक रस्टिंग, यू कैन से combustion, you can say freezing, you can say condensation. These are the example of the exothermic reaction. Okay, so now let's think about it, how freezing is an exothermic reaction. Okay, हमारे यहाँ एक बहुत बड़ी मिसकॉन्सेप्शन ये है कि अगर फॉर एग्जांपल इफ़ यू हैव अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर और वो गर्म है, यू विल आस्क योर सिस्टर और ब्रदर टू प्लीज पुट दिस इन फ्रीजर ताकि पानी ठंडा हो जाए, राइट? दिस इज नॉट द केस. पानी ठंडा क्या होता है? लेट मी गिव यू वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. देयर इज नो डेफिनेशन ऑफ कोल्ड. कोल्ड, ठंड की कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है, राइट? देयर इज अ डेफिनेशन ऑफ हीट. हीट की देयर इज अ डेफिनेशन. So absence of heat is actually called the cold, right? Like there's a no definition of darkness. Darkness की definition कोई नहीं है. Absence of light is called the darkness. In the same way, there is no exact definition of cold. Absence of heat is called the cold. So होता क्या है? When you put a glass of water in the freezer, होता क्या है? There will be exothermic reactions. Now the heat particles will release out. राइट? जो when the heat particle will release out, तो उसमें से heat particles निकल के तो आपको पानी ठंडा हो गया. Is it clear? So freezing and condensation are the exothermic reactions. Now let me give you examples of endothermic and exothermic from real life. For example, long time ago in World War II, right? The main function was that we have to supply the food to the soldiers and make sure कि food गर्म हो, ठंडा ना होने मिले. So उसके लिए क्या होता था? Just imagine a pineapple can, right? Pineapple can है and it has a partition. उसके अंदर partition है. One side पे there are chemical present and the other side food is present. So basically हो क्या रहा है, when you just press the button, उसके ऊपर एक बटन सा होता था. Soldiers have to press the button. When they will press the button, exothermic reaction will start. Exothermic reaction करेंगे chemicals and जिसकी वजह से आपका खाना जो है वो गर्म हो जाएगा, right? This was the application of exothermic reaction, but it was no sort friendly. It was not so friendly. Why it's not so friendly? Because सबसे पहले तो it was costly, बहुत ज़्यादा costly होता था, and secondly ये आपसे you can use only one time. Why we can use only one time? Because once you press the button, chemical will start reacting, और chemical ने एक दफ़ा react कर लिया, exothermic reaction हो गया, heat produce हो गई, otherwise ये दोबारा नहीं होगा, right? Okay जी, now let me give you example of the endothermic reaction. The best example is the ice pack. ठीक है, for example घर में खुदा ना खास्ता किसी को चोट लगी है, so what will you do? You will take out the ice pack from the fridge and you will put it in the injured part. तो जहाँ जख्म हुआ है, so what exactly ice pack will do? Ice pack will absorb heat. Endothermic reaction है ना, it will absorb heat from the injured part, राइट, जिसकी वजह से आपकी जो सराउंडिंग है उसमें आ जाएगा कूलिंग इफेक्ट, राइट. और जब आपको पता है कि जो भी स्वेलिंग होगी वो रुक जाएगी, एंड सेकेंडली है जो आपके बैक्टीरिया है दे विल एक्चुअली ग्रो इन हाई टेम्परेचर. तो जब आप उसका टेम्परेचर कम कर दोगे तो उसमें बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन भी नहीं होगी, राइट. सो ice pack is the best example of the endothermic reaction, and there are actually two types of endothermic ice. There are two types of the ice pack. One is the freezer ice pack and the second one is the chemical ice pack. Freezer ice pack जो है वो आप easily घर में रख सकते हो and you can use it several times. आपने एक दफ़ा यूज़ किया, उसके बाद you can put it back, right? Disadvantage इसका ये है कि आप उसको किसी सफ़र में नहीं लेके जा सकते. So the other one is the chemical ice pack. Chemical ice pack है कि आप किसी कैंपिंग पे जा रहे हो, किसी ट्रिप पे जा रहे हो, आप किसी भी टाइम उसको साथ लेके जा सकते हो, राइट. उसके डिसएडवांटेज ये है you can use only once, राइट. वो भी इसी तरह का होता है कि आइस पैक है, there's a button, आप उस बटन को क्लिक करोगे, so there will be a chemical reaction and when you will put it in the injured part, तो उसमें से सारी हीट एनर्जी को एब्जॉर्ब कर लेगा, ओके. So this was about exothermic and endothermic reaction. ओके और मैंने आपको इसमें ये भी बताया था कि combustion is an example of the exothermic reaction. Okay, so what is the difference between the combustion and burning, right? Whenever there's a word combustion and burning, let me tell you, burning comes under the category of combustion, okay? Number two, burning is a very slow reaction, combustion is a fast reaction. Burning contains the less energy, combustion contains the high amount of energy. And whenever there's the word combustion, let me tell you three things are very important. The number one, oxygen. Number two, the heat. And the number three, the fuel. Okay. And rusting is also exothermic reaction. What is rusting? Rusting is actually whenever the iron reacts with the oxygen in the presence of water. Okay. This is the equation of the rusting, that whenever the iron reacts with the oxygen in the presence of water, it gives us iron oxide. Iron oxide is actually called the rust, जिसको आप उर्दू में जंग भी बोलते हो, ओके. सो इफ यू ऑब्जर्व कि अगर आपके किसी छोटे बहन भाई की साइकिल है, राइट, और वो सर्दियों में मोस्टली रात के वक्त बाहर है, फॉग के नीचे है, ओस पड़ रही है, सो साइकिल इज मेड अप ऑफ आयरन, ओके. साइकिल जो है वो आयरन का बना हुआ है एंड ऑल द टाइम वी हैव ऑक्सीजन, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, राइट. So iron is there, oxygen is there, but whenever the water droplets will mix with iron and oxygen, it will give us iron oxide, rust, and rust is a color of actually the brown and orange color, okay. So this was all about the exothermic endothermic reaction. I hope आपको समझ आया है, but still if you have any confusion, you are more than welcome to give me comments in comment section. You can ask me, and thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.